I'm realizing that I'm going to have to take a pretty damn hard look in the mirror because I am feeling mentally and physically beat trying to make this meat prep happen with the knee. And to do that, we're going to have to take a little trip down bad memory lane. Hopefully MEANA isn't too pissed at me for stealing her mirror. But flashback to 2022, this was easily the worst injury I've had in my entire powerlifting career. What happened there is I walked out too wide, took the squat anyways like an idiot, and you saw my knee buck out of the bottom. That was my adductor longus, my adductor brevis, my pectineus, and my gracilis, and my rectus abdominis, all simultaneously ripping off the left side of my pelvis. Ended up purple from my belly button all the way down to my ankle. Consulted with 6 different surgeons, and the consensus was that shit was too messed up to even be worth operating on because they didn't think it could get better, and they all told me that I would likely never squat competitively again. And the 6th time that I heard that, I was like, screw this guy. I'm just going to do some bodyweight squats in his office right there that second. He was definitely not very impressed with me, but that was when the switch flipped and I was like, screw this bullshit, I'm at least going to freaking try. Had absolutely zero expectations, but 10 weeks after the tears, I squatted 605 paused and it felt pretty damn okay. So I decided to sign up for a meet, and 10 weeks after the 605, 20 weeks after the tears, I ended up taking 793 for a all-time sleeve squat PR, which set up my first ever 2,000 pound sleeve total. Now, why that matters for right now is what I'm basing my expectations on for these quad tear recoveries is what happened when I blew my adductors off. The big problem with that is every muscle I tore when I detached all the adductors and the rectus abdominis, none of those muscles directly move the bar, and all of those muscles have pretty heavy redundancy with other muscles that can at least compensate to do the job for them. But with these quad tears, even though they are partial thickness tears to the quadripatellar tendons, they're still tears to the quadripatellar tendon, and if my quad cannot transmit force to my tibia, there ain't a lot I can do about it until I just give it the time to be able to transmit force again. And I keep telling myself that if I came back from that adductor that fast and that well, I can come back from this just as fast and just as well. And in trying to make that happen, I keep grasping at straws, keep adding work, keep trying to do more and more and more and more, hoping that something freaking sticks. And all that's really sticking is I feel like I'm gonna freaking die. And I'm scrolling through my Instagram page now trying to find the video that I'm looking for, but what I need to be basing my expectations on for this recovery is the last time I had a very freaking similar injury, taking advantage of the mirror, but holy shit, this is a lot of scrolling. Because we had to go back 9.5 years to when fat little multiply Seth was 3 weeks out from XBC finals at the Arnold. Now this wasn't the squat that did it because I was so pissed off I immediately deleted the video, but my right knee was so banged up the entire freaking prep, and the very next rep after this, I felt a giant pop 2 inches off the box, and I just sat back down and had the spotter save my life. Because I was still an idiot back then, I ended up doing the meet on way too freaking many painkillers, squatted a very, very sad and shaky 850 squat. I think the funniest part about this is right after this squat, I was like so much pain, I just needed to throw up, and I was just kind of like hobbling my ass through the back of the warm room trying to find a garbage can, and ended up puking on Danny Tiniero, who later became one of my best training partners and friends in Florida, but that's beside the point. When I got the imaging back, that injury was a partial thickness tear to my patellar tendon. And the funniest part, thinking about how long that took me to come back from, is that tear was only a 7 mil by 1 by 4, whereas what I got going on now is I got a 15 by 2 by 5 above the kneecap, a 4 by 1 by 3 below, and a 5 by 1 by 4 below. And that little tiny tear 9.5 years ago took me 2 freaking years to get my leg to work again. Now, back then, obviously, I did not know as much as I know now about rehab. I really had no freaking clue. But what I need to be remembering is, with the knee right now, considering that it is working so much better than the last time I came back from similar, I gotta be more okay with where it is. I just need to remove the expectation that if I work hard enough, I'm gonna be able to pull off a PR total, because if I keep treating it the way that I am right now, not only am I not going to PR my total, I'm probably not even going to make it to the meet. And the honest hope is that if I remove the stupid expectations, if I stop kicking myself in the balls every damn session, I think that's going to give us a much better outcome than if I keep treating it the way that I have been. Which in a way sucks because it does feel like I'm being a pussy, but I would much rather feel like I'm being a pussy, actually make it to the platform and not hate every single freaking training session on the way there. So plan for the day, normal speed bench session, hard freaking reset, do good work for the upper body, let myself freshen up so we can have a more appropriate push on Wednesday, and I will see you guys at the gym.
The winter over, I see the tables turn around. She been the hard way, beat it in my phone.
Keep it simple for the speed, 6.5s, comp grip, as short of rest as possible, as crispy as possible.
It's time for a windfall, not a single minute too soon. I've been too long overdue, now I'm gonna shoot the moon. I said it all was good, bad luck, 7-11, and she could be mine. Luck to the lady, and I'm gonna find love coming on the bottom line.
And I mean, I can tell it's definitely not normal yet, but does feel so much crisper than it is on Saturday, which makes me glad I elected to run the DE today instead of trying to force a main bench, because should have the rest knocked off appropriately for Thursday.
I've been to the table and I've lost it all before.
And I am running this as my overhead slot. I am very aware that it is not a true overhead press, and it is definitely not as shoulder intensive as true overhead press. But having run a true overhead press for the last couple of weeks, so I can tell that like the upper pec is not as punchy. So yeah, we're gonna get some punch back here. I'm hoping 2 plates will be appropriately not super kicking my ass work set for today. So I'm trying to dig myself out of the hole, not further into it.
I'm willing and able, always coming back for more. Squeezing out a thin dime till there's no one hanging on my arm. I gambled on the 3rd time, a fool will tell you it's a charm. If I'm betting on a loser, I'm gonna have a devil to pay. But it's the only game I know to play, it doesn't matter anyway. I said it all on the good run of bad luck, 7-11, and she could be mine. Luck be a lady, and I'm gonna find love coming on the bottom line. I said it all on the good run of bad luck.
2 plates did up feeling a little bit heavier than I wanted to, so I think that A, confirms the bit of cookedness, and B, we're just gonna have to try to add reps here next week. Either way, I'm freaking excited because bringing back the simplified split means I get to do something that I haven't had room to fit in for a little while.
11 and she could be mine. Luck be a lady, and I'm gonna find love coming on the bottom line.
Definitely a little unfamiliar handling big-ish dumbbells. So I'm going to try and do different right now just to make sure I'm getting that top end pec pull across. Is normally I'll just kind of pump dumbbells through the bottom, make sure I'm actually pulling them and wrapping the machine wrist, which is harder than I want it to be, but glad we're doing it.
Try to knock me off my feet, still standing with more money than I came with. Damn, took a loss, but I'm still up. Gambling, man, betting all the chips that I got left. Didn't talk to the
Now for triceps time.
law, it's a damn good day. Spent another 40K on my wrist. Yeah, hell nah, I don't need another shot, cause I'm already Meet at high noon and shut it down. Everything we do it loud. Everywhere we go, we bring a crowd. When we at the bar, tell them bring another round. Meet at high noon and shut it down. Someone call Jay, bring them out. If it ain't 100 proof, then pour it out. Meet me at the bar, guarantee we tear it down.
Hit the crossroads, stepping Rolls Royce doors. Counted 10 million on shows, spent 100,000 clothes. I got bad hoes, they got.
That was a little nasty, but I'm okay with it. When I'm running a MED split on the D day, I will always run 2 triceps movements. One of them a bigger movement, but I don't want to be like a giant Smith JM press, etc., because I don't want to be too cut for the ME day. Incline rolling extension really fits that bill well, but because that is kind of a sloppier movement, I want to couple that with something a little bit squeezier.
Pretty pink toes, let her put that mink on. Put some diamonds in her gold. 500 on my wrist, got never nigga lit. Caught the Rari truck, sent it back and added the kid. My folks from the country, and ain't have a pot to piss. I'm gonna win country, mission Woozy in this bitch.
At the crossroads, the devil I know. So let's make a deal, but I don't take long. So the folks shine around, they'll never let it go until they can get it back in blood. Meet at high noon and shut it down. Everything we do it loud. Everywhere we go, we bring a crowd. When we at the bar, tell them bring another round.
So we're still running Travis's stupid triceps tricep for that purpose, because holy freaking shit, even it does get a little bit sloppy by the 3rd round of 3 sets of 15 on swept out, and just normal push down. Triceps, so sauced. I don't know if that made sense. All my blood's in my arms. And for lats, we're gonna run some hack down, semi-supinated pull downs. By pack down, I mean I'm gonna hold scaps low, make sure I'm keeping tension in the lats, and just kind of pumping in that there bottom end. Top set was probably a little ambitious, but holy freaking shit, that was another good squeeze.
I'ma finish you. Don't care if you ain't supposed to kick a horse when he's down, motherfucker, I'ma bury you. Type it up, I light you up on piss on place to put you out.
And I know that all the effective rep nerds are like, oh, you don't need to do more than 8 reps in a side delt raise. But
This is that.
nerds,
Okay.
but big old but. This is my personal experience as someone with kind of small delts, so maybe don't listen to me. But that's like the 4th but I've said, 5th but, 6th but. Fuck, I'm gonna have to restart this. Do I have to restart this? No. In my experience, if I try to do a side delt raise with low enough weight to make a set of 8 to 12 hard, it doesn't actually feel like I'm contracting my side delt. Whereas if I'm cranking at 20, 30, I am flexing the shit out of that sucker the whole entire time. And again, I'm not sure if it's working yet, but when I do that, the delts do feel juicier.
You said doo-doo.
Do. I don't know why I had you in the shot.
I don't know.
I thought I was gonna need you to contribute, but
As someone who has half-decent delts, I do prefer doing higher rep delt work.
they only look big because you're small. And everything I want to do curls on is being curled on, so we're going to settle for this guy. Totally forget how heavy this is, so wish me luck. Oh, that's casual. We're fine.
Bury you. Is it you? Is it me? Is it true? Let me see. Is it you? Motherfucker, I'ma bury you. Don't care if you ain't supposed to kick a horse when he's down, motherfucker, I'ma crunch time. Let it be said you a punch line. You trying to get
Okay, 3 was ambitious.
get some head in a lunch line. Can't hear what you said, make it down. I'ma play dead to the gun sound. I been seeing red till I come down. Oh, you been misled, put a rug down. Okay, Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that. Look at the stupid shit, looks like you fun, but they give me that run with it, give me that double it. What is that? Give me that, give me that. Discussions of violence, I sat there in silence. I made a decision to call off the soldiers and stop their assignments and focus on turning the giants. Oh, while I got the floor, I gotta set this straight. Ain't nothing like revenge, I'm about to clean my...
Yeah, chain one back there. Definitely better piece of kit. The problem is everyone else in the gym has discovered it's a better piece of kit, so it's always being used nowadays.
Play. I'm balancing you, Rita, how the fuck you say? Come on, say, I'm about to catch a fucking case. I'ma finish you. Don't care if you ain't supposed to kick a horse when he's down, motherfucker, I'ma bury you. Go type it up, I light you up on piss on flames to put you out, I'ma bury you. Is it you? Is it me? Is it true? Let me see. Is it you? Motherfucker, I'ma bury you.
One of the bigger things to see powerlifters screwing up when they're training abs is that they're just like reverse hip hinging, bending at the hip only. If we want to make sure we are actually training abs, we gotta make sure we are shortening abs. Therefore, we gotta curl our rib cage down towards our pelvis to lead the motion. Anyways.
Even if today had to be a little bit light to dig myself out of the fatigue hole, it is freaking nice to not have to limp my way through a session.